Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. With this positive vibe, we are about to jump into the best part of this afternoon. A pleasant afternoon and a very warm greetings to each and everyone. Welcome to the Internal Conference 2022. This is T. Jayashree, the host of this event on behalf of Immaculate College for Women, Kadalur. From the Department of English, we extend our appreciation for your presence today. One song can change a moment. One idea can change a world. One step can start a journey. But a prayer can change even the impossible. Let's start the occasion with prayer song.
உன் பாதம் சரணாகின்றே உன் பாதம் சரணாகின்றே உனில் வாழும் நினைவாகின்றே உனை பிரிய உறவாகின்றே உனை சேரும் உயிராகின்றே உன் பாதம் சரணாகின்றே.
இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன், இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன். ஏழு ஸ்வரங்களுக்குள் வாழும் உந்தன் உயிர் இயேசு என்னும் திருநாமமாய் நிற்கும் இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன், இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன். வாழ்க்கை பயணத்தில் இடர்கள் வரும், வழி எங்கும் உன் வசனம் இனிமை தரும். வாழ்க்கை பயணத்தில் இடர்கள் வரும், வழி எங்கும் உன் வசனம் இனிமை தரும். நீ இல்லை என்றால் நான் ஏது, நின்னினைவாலே என் வாழ்வு வெளிச்சம் பெறும். நீ இல்லை என்றால் நான் ஏது, நின்னினைவாலே என் வாழ்வு வெளிச்சம் பெறும். உன்னையே நிதம் எண்ணியே மனம் ஆனந்த ராகத்தில் கவி பாடும், உன்னையே நிதம் எண்ணியே மனம் ஆனந்த ராகத்தில் கவி பாடும். உள்ள மகிழ நெஞ்சம் நிறைய உந்த நன்பு என்னில் வளர, உள்ள மகிழ நெஞ்சம் நிறைய உந்த நன்பு என்னில் வளர. அனுதினம் அருள் மழை பொழிவாயே, இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன், இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன். ஏழு ஸ்வரங்களுக்குள் வாழும் உந்தன் உயிர் இயேசு என்னும் திருநாமமாக நிற்கும் இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன், இசையே உன் பதம் பணிந்தேன், இசையே இசையே இசையே.
The lines of prayer gives us strength and courage to do what is right and to be the witness of our faith. Without further ado, let's now start our program with welcome note. A beautiful smile is the best universal welcome. Yes, it can make the day a good day easily. It's time to welcome our dignitaries. Here we have Mrs. Saleh Adinayagi, Assistant Professor of English, to deliver a welcome note.
Happy morning to everyone. Welcoming heart is a parent of all virtues. As it is a sign of noble souls, charming words are a welcoming thing that brings a lot of happiness. I'm extremely overwhelmed to get this opportunity to address you all for this beautiful celebration of Women's Day and Internal Conference. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. It's a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome the guests who are present here. I'm profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce the chief guest for this occasion. First, I would like to welcome our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Dayalan, Assistant Professor, Tiruvallur University College of Arts and Science, Tiruvennallur, who is known for his hard work, dedication, human excellence, and blessed with numerous capacities. I cordially welcome you, sir. Indeed, no struggle can even succeed without women participating side by side with men. I'm honored to welcome Dr. L. Jennifer, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph College of Arts and Science for Women, Hozu. Indeed, we are charmed to have you in this wonderful occasion, ma'am. A hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you for giving us your precious time. One tree can start a forest. One word can frame a goal. One candle can wipe out darkness. A true leader has a confidence to stand alone. This quote is very much filling to our beloved secretary, Reverend Sister Sagai. We are really blessed to have you here, sister, and with a thankful heart, I welcome you, sister. It's my turn to extend a gracious and inclusive welcome to our respected principal, Dr. M. Sushila Devi. It's your sense of commitment which creates an apt platform for us to grow both mentally and physically. On this great occasion, with merging of minds, I welcome you, ma'am. It's a matter of great pleasure and honor to welcome our HR, Reverend Sister Dr. Mariasamy. We hope that with your energy, enthusiasm, and focus on education and learning, our institute achieves great excellence. Under your leadership and guidance, may we reach the next levels of glory. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sister. I extend my hearty welcome to all the staff members for their kind support and cooperation in all the occasions. Finally, the precious pearls of the society, gift of God, and building blocks of our country. Yes, my dear students, it's only your hard work and perseverance that makes this occasion vibrant and colorful. A lovable welcome to you, my dear students. And once again, I welcome you all for this dual celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your cheerful welcome. Language shapes the way we think and determines what we can think about. Now it's time to know about our department and its highlight through a video.
Wish to pursue your career in language, then this place is for you. Immaculate College for Women. Immaculate College for Women was started in the year 2015. The Department of English has started UG the same year, only with 69 students, and PG started from 2018. We are successfully stepping into the 7th year. This institution was started for the welfare of women's literacy by the Franciscan sisters. English language is predominant in Immaculate College since it is a universal language. Students get more job opportunities like teacher, English translator, journalist, content writer, etc. Many of our outgone students were placed in government and private jobs. Our college is situated in the heart of Cuddalore city. Admission open for both UG and PG. Eligibility for UG course is 10th plus 2 years with 55% of higher secondary marks. Eligibility for PG course is 10th plus 2 years plus 3 years of undergraduate. We are also offering many value-added courses like spoken English, short-term certificate course, and conducting many academic workshops, international conferences, seminar based on the employability skills to motivate and enhance the career and personality developments of the students. On 15th July 2021, international conference was organized by the Department of English under the topic Evolution of Myth and Culture Conflict in Literature to enrich students' knowledge. Nearly 127 UG and PG students actively participated and published their paper in conference proceedings with ISBN. After rigorous scrutiny, 6 students were selected for the final presentation with PPT. Ahmed Nachia from First PG won the Best Presentation Award. Department YouTube channel ICWCUD Englisha was launched to uplift students' potential in literature. The Department of English has got well-qualified staff members, and under the guidance and leadership of our Secretary Reverend Sisters Sagai Mary Nachithiram and our Principal Dr. M. Susila Devi, college has been reaching its mission and vision. Admission is going on. Grab your opportunity now. Create your own success story.
Thank you for remembering our memories and achievement. A conference is a place where we get the best experience through people who have the same goals in mind by consuming great content. What is said is not as important as what we hear and what we feel. That's why we make an effort to experience conference in a setting where the still small voice of a spirit can be clearly heard, felt, and understood. Here we have Mrs. M. Joyce Priya, Head Department of English, to share a few words about our conference.
The galaxy of intellectuals, invited chief guests and judges, respected secretary, beloved principal, honorable HR, my dear colleagues, and my ever loving students. A very good afternoon. The Department of English at Immaculate College for Women, Cuddalore, strive hard to reach the excellence in various fields of literature. since the inception of the department, established itself as the reputed department in the college. On 15 July 2021, International Conference was conducted by the Department of English for third year UG and first year PG under the topic Evolution of Myth and Culture Conflict in Literature. Dr. K.S. Anthony Sami, Associate Professor and Head from Loyola College, Chennai, was the chief guest. 25 papers were published in the International Conference proceedings with ISBN. Agman Nachia from First PG won the Best Presentation Award. Under the guidance of our Secretary, Principal, and HR, the conference marched towards the success. The topic for the today's internal conference of our department is Gender and Identity Issues in Literature. Nearly 66 students from third year have participated. After meticulous scrutiny, 26 papers were published in the journal. Out of 26, 6 students were selected for today's final presentation. Here's our student to exhibit their presentation with PPT. Students' high impact on publications in the journals shows the standard of the students. I congratulate my colleagues for their great efforts in preparing students to present and publish their papers. It is a great achievement on my part of my colleagues to arrange the publication of the proceedings of the conference in the form of a book to be published. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The future is belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Here comes our students with their interesting presentation. Well, let's move on to the presentation. Gender equality is a human fight, not a female fight. Here comes Ms. R. Uma Mageshwari to express her views on gender disparity and identity issue in Henry Ibsen's A Doll's House.
A good day to you all. Here I am Uma to present my paper on gender disparity and identity issues in Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House. First, let's see a few points about the author Henrik Johan Ibsen. Ibsen was a well-known Norwegian playwright and also known as the father of modern drama. He is widely known as the father of modern drama and the father of realism. In the years of 1902, 1903, and 1904, Ibsen was nominated for the greatest award, the Nobel Prize in Literature. Richard Hornby, a former member of the Parliament of UK, considered Ibsen as a profound poetic dramatist, the best since Shakespeare. He meant that A Doll's House describes the need of every individual, whether man or woman, to find out the kind of person he or she really is and strive to become that person. This play, A Doll's House, deals with the condition of a married woman under the excessive control of husband. So, it deals with the problem of feminine liberty. It was originally written in Norwegian language with the title Eight Tukejam. It is a three-act play and published in December 1879. A Doll's House was the world's most performed play in 2006. A Doll's House mirrored the condition of society. It picturized how women are treated by society in 19th century. Likewise, the society also wants women to safeguard their homes, take care of their children and husband apart from finances. the women had very little social, political, and financial power. In society, the women were treated as nothing but a supporting factor to the success of every man. Before marriage, a woman was treated as a product in the hands of the husband further, and when she got married, she became an article of trade in the hands of her husband. So she had no rights, feelings, and ideas on her own. During 19th century, women were not having right to get loan on their own. In this play, the protagonist, Nora Helmer, has been struggling for her identity. Her husband, Torvald Helmer, a bank manager, treats her as a pet. Nora has to seek advice from her husband on what clothes she should wear, what she should eat, and how she should behave. She cannot exercise her independent judgment. She is like a puppet wife in the hands of Torvald Helmer, who often advises her to spend less money. Mrs. Christine Lynn, a friend of Nora Helmer, broke her relationship with Niels Krogstad, her faithful lover, but he is a poor man. Because of her family burden and to take care of her mother and her two brothers, she chose to marry a wealthy man. By this sacrifice, we get to know that women were not allowed to live their expected and agreeable life. It depends on the economic condition of her family and desire of her parents. Nora is also a self sacrificing wife. When her husband had fallen ill and when the doctors had advised her to take him away to warm climate in southern Europe to Italy, she wanted to save her husband's life. So she puts her father's signature by her own in the bond to get money because in 19th century women were not allowed to get a loan without a signature of man. Before marriage, when her borrowing is revealed, Torvald first thought for his reputation and he accuses her of having no morality and sense of duty to be a good wife and good mother. He further called her as a feather brained woman. When she realized that her husband never loved her, she takes a bold decision to abandon her husband and children. Nora has taken strong decision to leave her husband not only because of getting relief from the position as a mother and a wife, but to create her own identity. The play takes place around a Christmas Eve when the whole world celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ. So it's a time for rebirth and awakening of Nora also. She needs to be an individual and assert her identity. Likewise, as a woman, we should find our journey to find out our identity. Be aware to live an independent and desirable life. Thank you all for listening my presentation patiently and thank you for this wonderful opportunity to all.
Thank you, dear. You don't have to play masculine to be a strong woman. Here we have Miss G. Vadana to express her view on feminism in Thomas Hardy's Far from the Madding Crowd.
A warm and cherished afternoon to everyone gathered here. I'm Vadana from Department of English. The topic of my presentation is all about feminism in Thomas Hardy's Far from the Madding Crowd. It is difficult for a woman to define her feelings in a language which is chiefly made by men to express there. Firstly, I would like to give a brief explanation about the author Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy was born on 2nd June 1840 in Stinsford, Dorchester, England. He was an English novelist, poet, and short story writer. He belonged to the Victorian and modern age. Some of his notable works are Far from the Madding Crowd, The Return of the Native, The Mayor of Casterbridge, and Jude the Obscure. He was awarded the Order of Merit of Excellence in his field in 1910. He died on 11th January 1928 in Dorchester, Dorset, England. Thomas Hardy was focused more on a declining rural society, and the contemporary Victorian society was also highly cited in his novel. The novel Far from the Madding Crowd was Thomas Hardy's fourth novel and his major literary success. It was published in 1874 and this novel sets in 1870s. During that time, women had only few rights to follow. The main motive of Hardy's novel it strives to input females' rights and equality by designing the character like Bathsheba in Far from the Madding Crowd. Bathsheba Everton, the orphaned daughter of townspeople, is the heroine of the novel. She is very faithful and pure hearted, but at the same time, she is narcissistic and jealous. She is more conscious of her beauty and her physical charm. In other hand, she is well educated, cultured, and accomplished woman. She is also an independent woman who has hold upon everything in her life. She soon inherits her uncle's farm agriculture property, and old castle house. She is determined to run the farm which she is inherited. She is very much concerned about the farm workers and give attention to the payment of their wages for treating them to nourishment. Many people doubted her abilities, how she can run a successful farm since she is a woman. Bathsheba understands this and recognizes that she must work hard to earn the self respect of her employees because of her gender. She amazes everyone by walking alongside them, selling her own crops at the market, where she is the only woman who managing her own farm like a well seasoned pro. Through her dedication and hard work, she quickly earns the self respect of her employees and she takes pride in knowing that women can also succeed in traditional male business. She proves that a woman can also run a successful firm. As a financier of the Harvest Festival, she was also in Supreme Sovereignty. In Far from the Madding Crowd, Hodi represents as the woman manager who carries business dealing with men at the corn market with astonishing versatility. From this, we can acknowledge that women had to prove themselves to be doing things better than male peers and they also carries equal footing with the male in the society. Hence, Bathsheba Everton is a free-spirited and independent Victorian woman who will not confined by the principle of patriarchy. And she has proved to be a successful woman, and we can see her confidence through her own words in the novel. That is, when troubles comes your way, and it will, don't run from it. Stand your ground, even if you're cut into pieces. Until women learn to want economic independence and until they work out a way to get this independent without denying themselves the joys of love and motherhood, it seems to me feminism has no roots. Finally, I would like to end with a quote. Feminism is not hating men or favoring women. It is about empowering, educating, encouraging, and believing in female power. Thank you all for a passionate listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Vadana. The crown of literature is poetry. Yes, it is an expression of thoughts that breathe and words that burn. Here comes Miss Ahmed Nadshia from 2nd MA English to deliver a poem about women empowerment.
Remember women. Remember women. You were born, life giver, miracle creator, magic maker. You were born with the heart of thousand mothers, open, fearless, and sweet. You were born with the fire of queens and conquerors, warriors, let you bleed. You were born with the wisdom of sages and salmons, no wound can you not heal. You were born the teller of your own tale, before none should you kneel. You were born with the immeasurable soul, reaching out past infinity. You were born to desire with passion, abandon, and to name your own destiny. Remember, women, remember, you are more than you can see. Remember, women, remember, you are loved endlessly. Remember, women, your power and grace, the depth of your deep sea heart. Never forget you are women, divine as you have been from the start. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Well, if patriarchy had a specific beginning in history, it can also have an end. Now it's time to call Ms. K. Gopika to express her views on patriarchy and women's subordination in the play Fire and the Rain by Girish Karnad.
A very happy day, one and all gathered here. Myself, Gopika K from the Department of English, final year. I am here to talk about patriarchy and women's subordination in the play Fire and the Rain, which was written by Girish Karnad. Let's move on to the play. Girish Karnad was born on 19th May 1938 and died on 10 June 2019. He was a contemporary playwright of South Asia and prominent dramatist. He conferred Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan by the Government of India. He also won 4 Filmfare Awards. The play Fire and the Rain is derived from Vanaparva of the Mahabharata, the theme which run around our caste system and gender discrimination. The play occurs in a small place of India long ago that has experienced a scarcity of rain. The story of Evergreen deals with the misuse of knowledge and spiritual power that acquired from Lord Indra, the god of rain. In this play, Paravasu was appointed as a chief priest to conduct fire sacrifice to bring rain to the drought land. The king shows his all authorities by blowing up. We can come across Lord Brahma is a masculine gender. The best example for patriarchal domination in this play is Vishaka. Vishaka was born in upper class family. She is 6 years old girl. She is bold, truthful, and straightforward girl. Evergreen fall in love with Vishaka. They loved each other. But Evergreen left Vishaka and went to forest to observe penance for 10 years. So Vishaka married Paravasu, the elder son of Rabia. After a year, Paravasu was appointed as a chief priest to conduct fire sacrifice to bring rain to the drought land. Hence, he abandoned Vishaka. He left Vishaka under the care of his old lustful father, Rabia. He left her to do all the household work for her family members. Her father in law also seduced her like a beast. Her life became more miserable. The another example for patriarchal domination in this play is Nittilai. Nittilai is a tribal girl. He believes in purity of love. He falls in love with Aravasu, the brother of Paravasu. Aravasu is a Brahmin, but Nittilai is from a lower caste. So the elders do not agree with their marriage. So her father decided her to marry to a young tribal youth. In the end of the play, he was killed by her own husband. Indra was happy on Nithile's great sacrifice and noble cause, and as a result, Indra gave rein to the drought land. Aravasu treats his sister in law respectfully. In the contrary, Arabia abuses his daughter in law. He does not behave as a man behaved to his daughter in law. And knowing this, Vishaka and Evagri curses the latter to be killed by Brahma Rakshasas. Girish Karnad addressed several gender and identity issues in the play Fire and the Rain. He brings the true face of customs and reality of life. He also explained true sacrifice and rituals. I conclude this presentation by saying feminism isn't making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that stain. Thank you all for your passionate listening.
Thank you, Gopika. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exist and their entrance, and one man in his time plays many parts. Now I invite Miss G.D. Chitrambal to share her views on Shakespeare's dimorphism.
A very pleasant afternoon to one and all present in this virtual conference. I'm Chitrambal from the Department of English in front of you all to share my piece of knowledge on Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. My cause for picking this work was that I felt this was one of Shakespeare's best romantic comedy, including more genres. One among the genres, today's prime topic is gender and identity issue. I'm extending my happiness to share some details on a great poet, critic, playwright and dramatist William Shakespeare, who belongs to Elizabethan and Jacobean age. He was born on 26th April 1564 at Stratford, Avon, United Kingdom. He was well known for his 37 plays and 154 sonnets. He was popularly known as Bard of Avon. At the age of 49, he died at Stratford. Now, it's my time to tell you a few details on Twelfth Night, which is also called What You Will. The play happens in the eve of Feast of Epiphany, that is after the 12th day of Christmas. This play revolves around the themes like romantic comedy, uncertainty of gender, the folly of ambition, love and desire, disguise and deception, gender and sexuality. The gender and sexuality was totally carried out by a young aristocratic birth woman named Viola. She finds herself a clever disguise has entrapped her, Viola's transformation into Cesario. And Olivia's impossible love for her also implies that maybe distinctions between male and female, heterosexual and homosexual, are not as absolutely firm as one might think. The play stressed the potential ambiguity of gender. There are many instances in which characters refers to Cesario as an effeminate man, all of which makes William Shakespeare's achievements in Twelfth Night is truly remarkable. His crusted heroine, Viola, who calls herself a monster, is no social pariah, but a glorious demonstration of the range of gender possibilities available to early modern people. On the 17th century stage, with female roles taken by boys, the play was even more giddily fluid in its gender dynamics. Viola is in fact a boy playing by her role, a girl in nature playing a boy for survival. The sexual dimorphism isn't all it's cracked up to be. Dressed as the boy Cesario, Viola is regarded by Orsino as an apt wooer for Olivia precisely because of the youth's alluring androgyny. Twelfth Night is a romantic comedy, and romantic love is the play's main focus. Despite the fact the play offers a happy ending in which various lovers find one another and achieve wedded bliss, Shakespeare shows that love can cause pain. The main love triangle of Twelfth Night is between the character Viola, Countess Olivia, and Count Arsinoe. The problem of social ambition works itself out largely through the character of Malvolio, the steward, who seems to be a competent servant if prudish and dour, but proves to be, in fact, a supreme egotist with tremendous ambition to rise out of his social class. Maria plays on these ambitions when she forges a letter for Olivia is in love with him and wishes to marry him. In the class system of Shakespearean time, a noble woman would generally not sully her reputation by marrying a man of lower social status. Here, Viola first becomes aware of Olivia's newfound affection for Cesario and laments the unintended consequences of her disguise. Viola decides that the use of deception is a convenient vehicle for evil influences. Feste is asked by Sir Toby to Dept as a priest in order to fool Malvolio, now imprisoned as a madman. Feste's disguise as priest is integral to mock exorcism that Sir Toby wishes to orchestrate. My findings from the play are the power of feminism, the deepest power of love, the intelligence for survival, equality over the sexes, character handling, and disguising. Twelfth Night was written near the end of Queen Elizabeth's reign in England. The notion of a strong female such as Elizabeth choosing to be a bad country without the help of man began to provoke people to consider what truly a woman's role was. Shakespeare emphasizes love as one of the most influential emotion an individual can experience, focuses on the main characteristic about love that helps to solidify the strength of this emotion on the characters. Viola and Sebastian reunion resolves the various confusions, deception amongst the Twelfth Night characters, and restores society approved heterosexual marriages and class distinction. This resolution, a return to social order, is typical of Shakespearean comedies. In this play, Shakespeare has complicated the gender roles of the relationship between Viola and Olivia by cloaking Viola as male. Her identity almost throughout is double gender. Shakespeare hence proved the play with the quality of feminism, as his quote says, "For women are roses whose fair flaws, being once displaced, doth fall the very hour." This quote explains the situation of women in the 17th century, the way they had been treated over that period. On analyzing this play, one can understand the evolution of the women life in the society. Thank you all for lending your ears for these many times.
Thank you, dear. Dancers don't need wings to fly, but they create their own wings by dance. Now I call dancing queens of our college.
வாயாடி பெத்த புள்ள வரப்போற நல்ல போல யாருவ யாருவ கையில சுத்துற காத்தாடி காத்துல ஆடுது கூத்தாடி கண்ணுல கலரா கண்ணாடி நம்புக்கு வந்து நிப்பா யாருவ யாருவ
எனக்கு நான் தான் ராணி. உலகத்திலே எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச பொண்ணு யாரு தெரியுமா? நான் தான். ஐ லவ் மை செல்ஃப்.
நான் கால்கள் கொண்ட தென்றல் நடமாடும் சாலை மின்னல் நான் கூந்தல் கொண்ட மேகம் நலமாகம் பாடும் ராகம் என் கவிதை கொஞ்சம் குயிலே நீ பாட பாட சுகமா உன் கையொப்பம் தான் கேட்டேன் நான் மட்டும் தனியாய் வரவா பணக்கார பெண்ணாக தமிழ் பொண்ணுங்க நின்னாக அந்த காலம் போயே போச்சு. சர்வதேச பெண்ணாக தமிழ் பொண்ணுங்க ஆனாக சாஸ்திரங்கள் போயே போச்சு. ஐஸ்வர்யாராய் அழகை வாங்கு, ஜான்சி ராணி வீரம் வாங்கு, சானியா மிர்சா இளமை வாங்கு, மூன்றும் சேர்த்து உலகை வாங்கு. செடி நட்டதும் மலர் மொட்டுகள் விட உத்தரவிடுவோம், விதையிட்டதும் கனி சட்டன வர கட்டளையிடுவோம். இளம் கன்னியரினி வெண்ணிலவினில் கப்பலும் விடுவோம், எமை முட்டிட வரும் முச்செடிகளை முட்டி முட்டி முன்னேறுவோம். மாதரே 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 மங்கையே மங்கையே மாதரே மங்கையே மங்கையே மாதரே 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 மங்கையே மாதரே மங்கையே மங்கையே மாதரே. காதல் தம்மை இழிவு செய்யும் மடமை கொளுத்த சபதம் செய்தோ இன்றோ மடமை வளர்க்கிறோம் மாதருடல் தான் கொடுக்கிறோம்.
நம்ம நாட்டுல எந்த நிமிஷமும் பொண்ணுங்க முன்னாடி போக முடியல, பின்னாடி எவன் வரான்ற பயத்துலதான் சார் போகணும். பொண்ணுங்க ஸ்கூலுக்கு போட்டும், காலேஜுக்கு போட்டும், வேலைக்கு போட்டும், நிம்மதியா உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பொண்ணை பிடிச்சிருந்தா தைரியமா போய் சொல்லுங்க சார். அவங்களுக்கு உங்களை பிடிச்சிருந்தா கல்யாணம், இல்லையா விரட்டி துரத்தி ஒத்துக்க வைக்கிறது இல்ல சார் ஆம்பளை. அவங்க உணர்வை மதிச்சு விலகி போறவன் தான் சார் ஆம்பளை.
உன்னால் முடியாது என்று ஊரே சொல்லும் நம்பாது, பரிதாபம் காட்டும் எந்த வட்டத்தோடும் நிலையாதே. உன்னால் முடியாது என்று ஊரே சொல்லும் நம்பாது, பொய் பரிதாபம் காட்டும் எந்த வட்டத்தோடும் நிலையாதே. உலகத்தின் வழி எல்லாம் வந்தால் என்ன முன்னே பிரசவத்தின் வழியை காட்ட பிறந்த கண்ணிலகே எடுத்து வா. சகதிகள் விழாமல் பார்ப்போமா, பருவை கொண்டு உன்னை பெண்ணென்று கேலி செய்த கூட்டம் ஒரு நாள் உன்னை வணங்கிடும் உயர்ந்தில்லை. பருவை கொண்டு உன்னை பெண்ணென்று கேலி செய்த கூட்டம் ஒரு நாள் உன்னை வணங்கிடும் உயர்ந்தில்லை.
Thank you, dears, for your colorful performance. Well, now I request Ms. R. Prabhavati, Assistant Professor of English, to invite our chief guest.
A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Well, now I request our chief guest, Dr. L. Jennifer, Assistant Professor in English, St. Joseph College of Arts and Science for Women, Hosur, to share few words.
Distinguished dignitaries of Immaculate College, Dr. K. Dayalan, Assistant Professor of Tiruvallur University, and the admirable gathering. A pleasant afternoon to every one of you. It's been a pleasure listening to young minds and beautiful thoughts going together on this virtual forum. And I'm quite impressed with the presentations and dance performances, and appreciations and congratulations to all the professors behind this great effort. And I'm delighted to share my warm wishes of International Women's Day. As we all know, yesterday, 8th March, is observed as International Women's Day by the United Nations every year with a significant theme. And we all know that this year's theme is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Sustainability, Nilai Tanmai. It means something or some quality which prolongs over a long period of time, and that's why I guess United Nations and the entire world focuses on gender equality as something permanent and not as temporary. Gender equality for us literature students, it is the most common word since the days of feminism. We all accept it. As a woman, as a mother, I would say gender equality should begin at home first. The seeds of gender equality should be sown into the minds of young children. In case of boys, they should be taught to treat women, girls with respect. And in case of girls, they should be taught to determine their space. They should be allowed to talk about their rights, and they should be never allowed to be taken for granted. We are all young and energetic children, and it is equally important first to be kind to ourselves. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself a lot. Never consider yourself inferior to anyone. And the second thing is to be tolerant towards your parents. In the Holy Bible, there is a book called the Book of Job, which comes under wisdom literature. The book of Job, chapter 34, verse 3, goes like this. For the ears tests words, for the palate tastes food. The tongue decides which food is delicious and which is not. In the same way, all the words dropped in, all the words thrown to us as insults, kind words, comforting words, harsh criticism, or smoothing flattery. The ears decide what is true and what is not. Sometimes our bond with the parents is not as strong as before, but we need to mend it before it is completely broken. And I would say your parents are important for one good reason, and that would be your education. You have found a place in the college, you have a desk and a bench today, and that is because of the greatest efforts of all those people who have constructed this particular day, Women's Day. And your parents are one among them. Because we all know, we have studied in social history of England, there were no women colleges earlier. And to pay back to your parents, what do? We need to work hard and persevere in whatever we do. Hard work and perseverance determine who you are. I would like to share a story with you because literature is nothing but lots of stories of life. There was a king who went for an hunting, and it was night. Because he could not travel back to palace, he happened to stay with the weaver. The weaver, husband and wife, they never knew that it was the king, but they gave him all comforts. In the morning, the husband has gone to the town to get the fabric for weaving, neyiradu. And the wife was weaving busily with her right hand. The king came and he was curious to find out that there was a rope tied to her left hand. And the king asked, "What is this for?" And she says, "I am weaving with my right hand and my child is in the cradle. In case if the child cries, I used to rock the cradle using the rope in my left hand." And then the king found a long stick near to her. And the king asked, "What is this for?" And she said, "I have dried the grains outside. And on the other end of the stick, there is a black cloth tied to it. And in case if the birds come to eat the grains, in order to shoo away the birds, I used to wave the stick from here." And then the king found few children out of the window. And he asked, "What are they for?" The weaver wife said, "Only my hands are busy weaving right now. So I teach little life lessons to the children waiting out of the window." And the king asked, "Why don't you bring the children inside and teach them?" And she said, "Only their ears are listening. I have given them the job to press the clay, and see there, their legs are busy with that." The king was astonished. How could a person do many things simultaneously? And the weaver wife didn't stop it. She said, "My husband is a Greek, and every day he gives me 10 new Greek words, and I learned that too." The story ends here. And I would like to leave you two morals from the story. Yes, this is a story of hard work and perseverance, that one cannot be lazy and one should not be lazy. Apart from that, two other morals I would like to leave for your thoughts today. The first one is to learn, the learning passion. We are all here to learn something. Let us take the weaver wife in the story. She is not someone extraordinary. You have seen the same person in our lives, that could be our mother, sister, sister-in-laws, cousins, relatives, friends, and it is sometimes you. You are the person, because women are multitasking by nature, and it is in our blood and actions. Like the weaver woman, one should be both the teacher and the learner, and that's the secret of success. Ayn Rand, the famous writer of Atlas Shrugged, says, "Learn to value yourself, fight for your happiness." Yes, we need to learn a lot of new things every day. We need to move on. We need to set fire. We need to set world on fire, like Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who says these words. And the next important lesson we learn from the story is to listen, listening, because we are in an age where we do not know whether to thank the technology because we are connected through this virtual platform. At the same time, we do not know whether to curse the technology because with mobile phones on hands, juggling between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media, we have forgotten the people near us. And the king in the story is just a mere spectator. He never considered himself superior in the story, nor he takes the credit. He had a childlike curiosity listening to the simple life of the weaver woman. And this is what we need to learn. And when you learn, you listen. And when you listen, you learn. Listen to your experiences of your parents. Listen to their blood and sweat. You would know the value of the pen you hold to write every day. And I'm impressed with the motto of your college: learn, light, and liberate. Let us all learn to be the example for others. You need to learn to love yourself, learn to value yourself. That is called as self-esteem, I guess. And light the lives of others with the wisdom you acquire from college, being an immaculate. And be proud that you study in this college, because you would be the future tomorrow. And only by that way, you liberate others and you liberate yourself, your mind, removing all the fears within, hatred within, inferiority complex within, and you shine better. And I would like to conclude with the thought of Thiruvalluvar, a poet of ages. He says, "Enaithanum நல்லவை கேட்க அனைத்தானும் ஆன்ற பெருமை தரும்." Tirukkural 4:16. What does it say? It talks about this. When good things, when wisdom, when positivity goes into a person, one becomes a person of perfect dignity. I leave these thoughts for you, and I would like to thank Reverend Sister Sahaya Mary Nachatharam, Secretary, Dr. M. Sushila Devi, Principal, Reverend Sister Dr. Maria, Convener and HR, Mrs. Joyce Priya, Head of English, the other respected professors, and my dear Immaculates, for this magnanimous day. The kind words of Reverend Sister Maria and Mrs. Joyce Priya are still lingering on my mind. And I thank every one of you for your listening and stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. A woman with the voice is, by definition, a strong woman. But the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. Here we have Ms. A. Aruna Devi and A. Asha Mersley to express their views on the depiction of Dalit women in Jyoti Lanjwa's poem, I Never Saw You.
Happy afternoon to one and all. I'm A. Asha Maslin and she is A. Arna Devi studying BA English final year in Immaculate College for Women, Kannur. We have a great pleasure to have this opportunity to speak a few words on this August assembly. Now, we are going to speak on the topic the depiction of a Dalit woman in Jyoti Lanjava's poem, I Never Saw You.
First, let me give a brief explanation about the poet. Jyoti Lanchwa was born on 25th November 1950 in Nagpur from a Dalit family. She is a Dalit writer, feminist, and an activist. She followed the steps and principles of Dr. Ambedkar. She died on 8th November 2013.
The theme of the poem in I Never Saw You. In this poem, the poet detailedly explained the struggles faced by a Dalit woman in her life. She describes the hardships of the women due to poverty, sexual harassment, economic depression, and gender oppression. She had faced all the problems because of her caste. She believes that education is the one which gives a proper solution for all the problems. And also, she had a strong belief on Ambedkar and his principles.
In the beginning of the poem, the poet portrays how a mother suffered in her life. She gives a sad picture of a mother who was not lucky enough to wear golden jewels, branded new silk saris, and even chapels on her foot. This is because of poverty and caste system. The poet also gives a vivid picture of the upper class women who wear golden jewels and silk sari.
Even though she works hard,
She was not able to save money and to have enough food. In the whole season, she remains barefoot. She worked in the road construction, carrying burden of soil and dust on her head. While go to work, she makes a swing on the honey tree with bundle of cloth for her children. She is carrying the baskets of sand with rags wrapped around her feet. She gives a sweaty kiss to her child, who ran towards her with patching feet. She works under daily wages. She worked in the construction of dams. Even though she works hard, she was not enough to suppress his hunger. During pregnancy, she used to climb the house. This all is for the reason to make her dream of four-walled house. After return to home, she undid her sari bundle, holding salt and cooking oil, and she gave 5 paisa coin to her child to eat candy. At last, by holding her baby in her breast, I'm told to get education like Ambedkar.
The mother is preparing food in the stove, filling with crushed sugarcane. She had fed everyone and saves only a small piece for her. In olden days, people were easily judged by their dress code. The lower caste women have to tolerate the numerous panics and predicaments. One day, the upper class woman gave them leftover food, but she proudly rejected it. She covered herself modestly with the same sari which she had made countless bundles.
Women are considered as lust objects, particularly the downtrodden women. In this poem, the author's money carrying vegetables and fruits in the basket on her head. When the womanizer teased her, she has the willpower to beat him. Certainly, in her working place, she has faced the same problem. As a dignified woman, she shouted at them whether they had no sisters and mothers who were also women.
After finishing all the mountains of work all day, she felt darkness in her life. No women were allowed to go outside to earn money, but the mother in this poem is different from others. When a drunkard husband lost his responsibility over his family, she used to throw him out from home.
The poet recalls the historical incident of changing the Marathwada University of Aurangabad in Maharashtra to Ambedkar University. There was a big struggle occurred. In their agitation, many of them lost their lives, and some were arrested by the police and sent them to jail. The mother also took part in that agitation, and she was brutally beaten by the police. She lost her son and said that she felt proud of his son's death because he died for the sake of Bhima. So his life became meaningful. She also insisted to the police that if she had 2 or 3 sons, she would delightfully join with them to fight for Dr. Ambedkar. Stepping on the ways of Dr. Ambedkar, they would destroy the suppression and oppression in the society.
At the end, the mother in the deathbed gives a little money to the Driksha Bhumi, which is a place where Ambedkar adopted for Buddhism. The money she saved is from shifting through waste paper. She insisted her children about Dr. Ambedkar and to live in unity. She had believed and practiced Dr. Ambedkar and his principles liberty, equality, and fraternity. Baba Sahib has been quoted in the line, he was firm in providing education to the downtrodden, particularly to the women. He believed that if the downtrodden children attained wisdom, they would bring freedom and equality to their community. Till her last breath, she says Jai Bhima on her lips. She never prayed for beads and branded new silk saris to present herself as an object of beauty. Thus, we conclude this poem through a quote that thing women have yet to learn is nobody gives you power, you just take it.
Thank you all for your passionate listening.
Thank you, dears. A feminist is a person who believes in the power of women just as much as they believe in the power of anyone else. Here comes Miss S. Yogapriya to express her views on female predicament in the novella The Yellow Wallpaper.
When men are oppressed, it is a tragedy. When women are oppressed, it is a tradition. A warm greeting to one and all gathered here. I am Yogapriya Sendil Kumar and I am here to present my research topic on the female predicament in the novella The Yellow Wallpaper written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. In the course of my presentation, I am sure you will understand why the yellow wallpaper is considered as the seminal one in the context of the feminist literature. The term predicament refers to the unpleasant and difficult situation that is hard to get out of. Female predicament means the unpleasant situation created by men who enslave women in order to protect them and exercise control over them. Before looking at any literary work in general, it is customary to look first at the author, Charlotte Perkins Gilman. She was born at 3rd July 1860 and died at 17th August 1935. She was a humanist, novelist, short story writer, and a lecturer of social reform. As a utopian feminist, she served as a role model for future generation feminists. She was married to Charles Walter Sitson, to whom she can't communicate completely about her feelings, and her marriage life led to divorce. She gave birth to her first daughter, Catherine Breacher, in 1855 and suffered from a severe bout of postpartum psychosis. Now, let's we see about the short story. In 1892, this short story was published in New England Magazine. The Yellow Wallpaper is considered as the important early work of American feminist literature. This short story illustrates the patriarchal society's attitude of mental and physical health of a woman in the 19th century. It is believed that Gilman shares her experience of her postpartum psychosis through this novella. So, we can safely call it as a semi autobiographical short story. The story, which is fashioned in form of a journal entry, is by an unnamed woman who has recently given birth to her child. She suffers from postpartum psychosis. She starts the story abruptly by describing the house, and she has an haunted feeling about it. When she shares her feeling to her husband, he laughs at her. Then she describes about her husband. John is established as a practical man. He is an epitome of reason, of domination, and of authority. He is not only her husband, but also a physician, which multiplies the element of authority, particularly on his wife's physical condition. From the beginning, we can see that her relationship with her husband is tainted and is corrupted because of John's attitude of passing judgment on his wife, and he always laughs at her. John considers her as a silly, whimsical, and hysterical. According to the narrator who narrates the story, the marriage is not always the unification of respect, but it is where the husband always laughs at the whims and fancies of his wife. This story is a confessional story. She is pouring out her heart because that gives her a kind of relief that her husband or the medical community cannot give. John forbidden her from doing any work, and even She doesn't have any access to her child because John said that she would become nervous. She contrasts John's rational thoughts with imaginative and sensitive ways. Even John forbidden her from thinking about herself. When women's voices question, the concept of agency is applied. Agency is nothing but the control that one has in their life. The agency is denied to her. Since she is not allowed to think or talk about herself, she describes the house. It is a traditional and colonial mansion and it is well decorated and ordered manner which gives us an air of authority. John selected the upper story room as her bedroom, which she doesn't like. That room had been a former nursery because it has broad windows which prevent children falling from the windows. The bars of the windows represent happy present of married life. The narrator feels that the yellow wallpaper of the room makes it ugly. She describes the yellow wallpaper as dull and irritating, and its patterns are illogical and irrational manner. While observing her description of the yellow wallpaper, we can see the total mental deterioration of the narrator. When she asked John to replace the wallpaper, he denied her request. Now, let's we see an interesting fact about Gilman's life. We have already know that Gilman suffers from postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression is a 20 distinct mood disorder associated with childbirth in which both men and women can suffer. Silas Weir Mitchell, who was the father of medical neurology, prescribed rescue as a treatment for the postpartum depression. This rescue include total confinement, isolation, and total rest. When Gilman sent him a copy of her short story to him, he doesn't reply. Then she introduces John's sister Jenny to the diary. The narrator feels that she is perfect and an enthusiastic housekeeper. Jenny is completely submitted to society's codes of normalcy, the normalcy which is established by the male dominated society. She believes that the writing makes the narrator sick. From this, what we can infer is that patriarchy and authority are not only imposed by men, women can also foster patriarchy. Jenny's attitude adds more to the idea of control. The narrator starts to imagine that there was a world behind the wallpaper. She saw a woman trapped behind it. Then she became addicted on looking at the women. Sometimes she saw many women behind the wallpaper who wants to escape, so she decided to help them. She peels off a large amount of wallpaper and helped them to escape. At last, she assimilates herself as the woman behind the wallpaper and starts to creep around the room. On seeing her condition, John faints on her way. When women's voices are suppressed, it finds utterance which is not always tuned with the codes of normalcy, the normalcy established by the male dominated society. Usually, tragedy and isolation goes hand in hand. A tragic hero becomes tragic when he is isolated from the society or his loved one. Here, our narrator is also isolated, so her life becomes a tragedy. Gilman stated that she wrote this short story not to drive people crazy, but to help people from driven crazy. The ideal situation is not where everything is in order. The ideal situation is where you have the freedom to question order. Thank you everybody for patiently listening my presentation.
Thank you, Yogapriya. Now I request Ms. B. Dina Perlin, Assistant Professor of English, to invite our chief guest.
If your action inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are the leader. Now, I request our chief guest, Dr. K. Dayalan, Assistant Professor in English, Thiruvalluvar University College of Arts and Science, Nallur, to address the gathering.
The respected patron, the chief patron, convener, and co-convener, organizing committee of conference, and my beloved Professor Jennifer, the Center of Arts and Science College of Women, Hosur, and all participants, and my dear student friends, good afternoon to one and all gathered here. I'm so happy of inviting me as chief guest for these wonderful dual celebrations. Even I have familiar with this department. I feel so happy because this is the second time you are inviting me as a chief guest, but it is more important than others. I feel I have an identity as a feminist. The both the Women's Day as well as the conference related to the topic of gender and identity. So both of them is only related to the feminism, but you are performing me as a male community as a chief guest. I think that activities proved or that activities insist my mind that you are acknowledging me as a feminist. So because of that reason, I personally gratitude the principal as well as the head of the Department of English. So thank you for all organizing committee. So allocation of time for me is very limited because the prime aim of or the prime motive of creating such a platform for the student. So I hope that just it is enough to define some of the words related to the topic such as gender, identity, and literature, and how these different terms can be manipulated in one's identity in constructed societies. So now I come to the term gender. We must comprehend on what is the concept of what is the conceptual intention is behind it in a difference between the gender and sex. The sex is nothing but referring the biological differences. So we must accept there is the differences in between male and female only by biological perspectives. But when we come to the gender perspective, it is entirely the sociological one. The gender is referring the difference in social concept which is involved in the concept of masculinity and femininity. So when we wanted to understand the concept of gender, we must go through the words or we must go through the terms such as female, feminine, and feminist, which is coined by Elaine Walter. What is female? According to Elaine Walter, she defined what is female. Female is nothing but a biological one. And what is feminine? The feminine is a cultural definitions, which is the female is socially socially constructed in characteristics. So, what is the next one is the feminist. Feminist is the political terms. So, at present, I expecting the women should come forward to empowering or to claiming the political power. So now identity. So now what is the identity? Identity is the word which is denoting our identity should be determined under the purview of ourselves. It has to be transferred to others. The issues will be happened. Now we come to the terms literature. Being a literature students, all of us obviously know that literature are obviously aware of the common definitions. Literature is like a mirror which reflects our life. So, in such a way, the role of literature is most important in the practices of culture in societies. So, here itself, so perhaps when we applied the concept of identity into the matter of feminine, we can comprehend the lack of liberty for the female to determine their place into the society by themselves. So, the role of masculinity in the concept of feminine is the root point for the concept of gender and the gender issues. What is the challenging task for femininity is to discard the concept of feminine in the masculine perspective which is already imposed in the literatures. So, in order to discard this biased concept, again the Elaine Walter suggest them a woman should be a reader and a woman wanted to be a writer. She classified women should be a reader, women wanted to be a writer. When we come to when we go through these two different concepts, because the characteristics of women should be created by the male. So that's why Elaine Walter suggest and uh, giving more stress on you should come forward to the society. You should be a vital role on creating your identity by yourselves. So that's why she is classified the text into a different concept. One is the gynotext, the another one is the anthrotext. It is the gynotext is nothing but the text is written by a female for women, but the anthrotext written by the male about the female. So, according to Elaine Walter, all the female should be come forward to take part or take place in the literatures. In such a way, this kind of creating forum and selecting the participants have proved more enough. They are claiming their identity, but you should not be stopped here itself. You go or you wanted to extend to empowering the political power. So I in such a way I am not the role of any suggestion in femininity, in the concept of femininity, but I can become a feminist because politically I can support your concept. In such a way, I am really so happy of being a role of chief guest in this great forum, and I wish to thank both organizing committee as well as the principal and the whole team of this program for acknowledging me as a feminist. Thank you for all.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Feminism isn't about making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives their strength. Here we have video about women empowerment.
A blessed morning to you all. It is a great chance for us to realize the strength of women through this special day. On this special day, we wish you a wonderful Women's Day. We say currently that all are equal. Unfortunately, since we recognize that males still dominate our country, we have decided that some work can only be accomplished through men.
But as women, if we take steps towards accomplishing whatever we want, our dreams can come true. As an example, we will talk about a female pilot, Kavya Aravi from Madurai, who is flying pioneer of sorts. Although her path towards becoming a commercial pilot was not an easy one, the foundation has been laid.
In her childhood, becoming a pilot was a dream. She comes from a large joint family. Her father is a bus driver. Her friends and teachers gave her a sense of worth by serving as a moral support. During that, she needs money. Since she had financial difficulties, so she looked the help of the government as a scholarship. It took 2 years to come.
And this time, she went through many ups and downs, discouragement, demotivation, but she never gave up her hope. Finally, after many trials, she completed 200 hours of flight training. When she received her commercial pilot license, she said that it was challenging, but she enjoyed the whole experience since it was both caution and confident.
At the same time, she says that it can be done no matter what. We should decide what feeling can affect our thinking, but our hard work and goals teach us a lot of life values. Don't waste your time trying to change your goals.
Take steps to reach your goal, then don't care what others think. My dear friends, always dream high and don't worry about anything. Everything is possible when you have faith. So calculate your goal and stay confident.
It is the precious time to reach your goals.
Thank you for the excellent video that portrays the life of women. Well, no duty is more urgent than giving thanks. So it's time to show our gratitude. I request Ms. S. Lavanya, Assistant Professor of English, to express her words of gratitude.
Gratitude makes sense of your past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Pleasant afternoon, everyone. On behalf of my institution, first of all, I convey my gratitude to God, the Almighty, for showering His blessings upon us to make today's event a resounding success.
My heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Dr. K. Dayalan, Assistant Professor, Thiruvalluvar University College of Arts and Science, Thiruvannamallu, for scrutinizing and judging the papers of our presenters. Today we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts and ideas. It highly encouraged us and our students. Thank you, sir. Our special thanks to our guest of honor, Dr. L. Jennifer, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science for Women, Hosur, for accepting our invitation and gracing her presence in today's program. Actually, she has captivated all of us through her enchanting words. Thank you, ma'am. Next, our thanks goes to our secretary, Reverend Sister Sagai Mary Nachitram, who is the source of inspiration and motivation to all of us. She always keep in mind the future and ready to face challenges in an optimistic way. Her loving encouragement always assures us to believe in things. With a deep sense of appreciation, we thank our loving principal, Dr. M. Sushila Devi, for her continuous guidance and support. My heartfelt thanks and a special mention to our venerable HR, Reverend Sister Dr. Maria Sami, who acted as a catalyst and inspired us to do our best. Actually, she remained as a pillar of power for this conference. I also want to thank the people who worked behind the scene to execute this event possible, such as our department HOD, Mrs. M. Joyce Priya, other faculties, organizing committee members, technical team, paper presenters, and our ever-loving students. Finally, I would like to convey my gratitude to the participants of this program for joining with us today. We hope that you will give your support in future conferences too. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of gratitude. Let's wind up the session with college anthem.
We the Immaculates born to shine stars. We the Immaculates born to shine stars. We the powerful women. We the great kings. We the powerful women. We the great kings.
We are strong in mind and heart.
We the Immaculates.
We are courageous women.
We the Immaculates. We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars. We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars. Everything we do it with passion. Everything we do it with passion. We will be more than women, more than women, more than enough for all. Oh yes, more than women. We the Immaculates, born to shine stars. We the Immaculates, born to shine stars.
We see it,
we want it, we stand alone it. We dream it, we work hard, we grind, 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 till we want it. We the Immaculates, born to shine stars.
The truth is our sound.
We the Immaculates,
They see us flying colors.
we the Immaculates. We have a voice, we have a mind, we have a soul, none can control. Yes, we have a voice, we have a mind, we have a soul, none can control.
Our motto:
Learn, light, and liberate.
learn, light, and liberate.
We the Immaculates, born to shine stars. We the Immaculates, born to shine stars.
We are strong, independent.
We the Immaculates.
Our motto makes us confident.
We the Immaculates.
We the Immaculates.
Born to shine stars.
The truth is our sound.
We the Immaculates.
They see us flying colors.
We the Immaculates.
We have a voice.
We have a mind.
We have a soul.
None can control.
Yes. We have a voice.
We have a mind. We have a soul. None can control.
Our motto.
Learn, light, and liberate.
Learn, light, and liberate.
We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars. We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars. We the powerful women. We the great queens. We the powerful women. We the great queens.
We are strong in mind and heart.
We the Immaculates.
We are courageous women.
We the Immaculates. We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars. We the Immaculates. Born to shine stars.
Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you for your kind attention. Every ending is a new beginning. Trust that an ending is followed by lots of good memories. Well, tomorrow we will have the presentation of Computer Science Department. So keep in touch with us. Until then, this is Jayashree signing from this event. And please enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Thank you.